on all things. We're going to get, oh, that's really loud. Thank you for all that volume over there. We are going to get started with our meeting. This is a staff meeting of the Hamilton County Board of County Commissioners. It's August 12th, 2025. We've got 2 regular agenda items, but before we get to that, we're going to do introductions from the dais.
Chrissy Rischel, Assistant Clerk.
Leslie Hervey, Clerk to the Board.
Stephanie Summerall, Dumas, Commissioner.
Jeff Aludo, County Administrator.
Patrick Dressing, Assistant Prosecuting Attorney.
And I'm County Commissioner Denise Streethouse. So as you look around the room, it's very exciting to see so many young people. As some of them are interns, some of them are presenting. So we are thrilled to have you. Welcome to the Hamilton County Commission. No offense to everybody that's my age or near it, but it really is fun to have young people in the room. So thanks for being here. So our first agenda item is the Green Umbrella Climate Action Fellowship, and we've got a number of presenters. And Brad, I'm going to bring you up first to make the introductions, and then we'll move into the presentation. Brad Johnson. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner. So yes, it's a privilege and an honor to be here in front of you. A year and a half ago, we met with you, and I really appreciate the commitment you provided in terms of looking at sustainability within the county. And one of the goals that we had created was to start exploring the option of an actual comprehensive plan as to, we know, we're doing a lot of these things already through public health, planning and development, obviously our office with air quality and solid waste, but we wanted to have one of the first county plans, not only in the state of Ohio, but in the country that actually evaluates where are our strengths, where are our weaknesses, what work are we doing, and how can we kind of gel those things together moving forward, and what opportunities do we have? So one of those opportunities this summer was a 10-week fellowship with Green Umbrella, who's one of our big partners. I know Green Umbrella has been in front of this board many times. Fantastic partner. And this was, I was thinking we'd get 1 fellow, and was very happily surprised to get 2. So double the amount of people looking at these things. And so the advantage, I would say, is that when you have fellows come in, they are a third party in some respects to kind of look at this with fresh eyes, where somebody like me and the administration, this is something that we deal with on a regular basis. So to have somebody come in and evaluate what we are already doing and how we can blaze a path moving forward was a great opportunity. So they're going to be here. They're here now, and they're going to provide a quick presentation to show you what they've done for the 10 weeks. They've done a lot of work in 10 weeks, and I'm super proud of the work they've done, and looking forward to your responses and how we move forward from here. So with that, I will go ahead and let the fellows take it over.
Okay. Please introduce yourselves as you come to the dais.
Thank you for the introduction, Brad. Today, we're excited to share our journey as Climate Action Fellows with Hamilton County Department of Environmental Services and Green Umbrella. Our fellowship was designed by Green Umbrella and aims to empower local governments to take meaningful action against climate change. Our program ran from June 2nd to August 8th, beginning with a 3-day intensive training period from May 28th to the 30th. So first, let's introduce ourselves.
Hi, my name is Ava Heffernan. I am a third-year undergraduate at Ohio State, and I am pursuing a double major in environmental policy and also psychology. My key areas of interest are advocacy, environmental psychology, and also land preservation.
Welcome.
And I'm Shobha. I am a grad student at UC. I'm doing my master's in communication. My specific areas of interest are community engagement and content making. And I'm really excited to be here. We have really diverse skills and interests, and you'll see throughout the presentation how it aided in our fellowship. So,
Welcome.
thank you. The Climate Action Fellowship was launched in 2024 and was inspired by the Indiana University's Resilience Cohort. It was created to provide local governments with tools, knowledge and support needed to turn climate action plans into real measurable progress. The program combines expert-led training and personalized mentorship to empower both communities and young professionals like myself to collaborate on climate solutions. What makes this fellowship stand out is its emphasis on partnership and practical experience. It's not just about studying climate issues, it's about actively working on addressing them in real time with real world people. Each fellow is placed with a local government and organization to help implement sustainability goals and climate strategies tailored to the region's unique needs. Last year, the program hosted 3 fellows, and this year, due to its success and its growing interest, it has expanded significantly. And in 2025, it's hosted 7 fellows in Milford, Oxford, Newport, and Fairfield. Hamilton County is the only county to be represented in this fellowship, and we're very proud to represent it. Over the course of the fellowship, we engaged in a variety of enriching experiences, including meetings with city officials and sustainability planning sessions with different nonprofits in the area, and also on the ground community engagement. One of the highlights for me personally was visiting Aiken High School's farm, where we gained first-hand insight into the agricultural education program. This visit, and you can see a picture on the left side of your screen, this visit was facilitated by Cynthia Walters from the Green Schoolyards, and it showcased how urban farming and environmental education can intersect to build a more sustainable future for the communities. These site visits, along with our day-to-day responsibilities, gave us a deeper understanding, not just in climate action work, but also in how local government works. I first want to go over some of our projects that we had. First, we had climate budgeting. This was modeled after the city of Oslo's approach. Climate budgeting treats carbon emissions like financial expenditures and encourages departments to set, track, and meet emission reduction targets. For this project specifically, we targeted and worked with the publicly available budget documents for the Hamilton County Planning and Development Department and the Metropolitan Sewer District. Our goal was to identify climate forward spending and conduct a return on investment in action analysis to assess the environmental and economic benefits of these expenditures. Our second big project was our community wealth building projects. Before I start, I just want to give you a definition of what community wealth building is. It is an economic strategy that focuses on keeping wealth in the communities by supporting small businesses and promoting fair employment, which builds long-term resilience. For this, we collaborated with We Thrive from Hamilton County Public Health, who are already champions in this work. And we collaborate and we identified 2 main areas that we want to work with, specifically on Amberley Village and Arlington Heights. With Amberley Village, we developed a social media plan and strategy to promote their community garden, which you can see in the pictures there. Beautiful garden, by the way. I visited, and wonderful people run it. In Arlington Heights, we helped advertise a green workforce education program to boost awareness and engagement in sustainable job opportunities. Our third big project was the sustainable procurement project. This project focused on promoting environmentally responsible purchasing and inspired by the Oslo's low carbon standards, we explored ways to encourage use of eco-friendly materials and sustainable practices in local government projects. We focused on best practices with green procurement and the recommendation for future practices. Together, these projects demonstrated innovative and practical ways to integrate sustainability into local government operations and community development. And our last big project was the county-wide sustainability plan. This plan has several key components that we'll walk through in just a second. But before we dive into the details, I want to take a step back and ask, why do we need a sustainability plan at the county level? Hamilton County is already doing great work, not just in the government sector, but also in the nonprofit and community engagement sector. There are impressive efforts happening at both the city and regional levels. For example, the Green Cincinnati Plan, the CPRG grant, and smaller level organizations like the Hillside Trust and other nonprofits that are doing great work. But through our research and our time working here this summer, we noticed something important. While there's a lot of great momentum, many of these efforts are happening in silos. Different municipalities, different agencies, and organizations are doing great work, but often without any clear coordination or alignment. People are using different standards, different language, and sometimes working towards the same goals without even realizing it. That's where the county-wide sustainability plan comes in. We need a central framework that brings everyone to the table, a plan that aligns goals, identities, and shared priorities and creates a roadmap for action across all 49 jurisdictions in the county. It's not about replacing what's already working. It's about connecting the dots and filling in the gaps and making sure that we're building something bigger and more unified than what any city or agency could do alone. Because the truth is, the challenges we're facing, environmental justice, equitable access to resource, climate change, they don't stop at city borders. And our solutions shouldn't either. So that with that in mind, we approach this project as not just a planning exercise, but as an opportunity to lay the groundwork for a more collaborative, connected, and resilient Hamilton County. Now we'll walk you through the major parts of the plan we developed and the insights we gathered and the recommendations we're proposing moving forward.
All right. So in the first month of our plan, we started with a peer review of other sustainability plans within the entire United States. So as you can see on the map, we looked at certain sustainability plans in California, in Michigan, in Wisconsin, Illinois, and of course, Ohio. Within Ohio, we looked at the Green Cincinnati plan. We also looked at the City of Fairfield's plan, the City of Oxford's plan, and also Cuyahoga County's plan. When looking at those, we cross-referenced themes and key components that we'd like to see in our plan. After that, we ran a greenhouse gas inventory for Hamilton County. We did this with the help of the Thrive Together Regional Greenhouse Gas Inventory, and we honed in the results to our county specifically to look at our emission sectors and what we wanted to target in our plan. As you can see, the industrial sector and the transportation sector contribute the most emissions in our county. After that, we researched past and current regional initiatives within the county. An example of this is the partnership with Great Parks and Taking Root with their reforestation efforts. We wanted to ensure in our plan that we're not repeating already great efforts that are going on, but we also want to uplift and boost those efforts. After that, we began creating an engagement plan, and how we did that is we categorized stakeholder groups and then paired them with different approaches for how we would engage them. For example, when we're looking at a stakeholder group such as youth, we would pair them with a storytelling approach. And so we outlined a plan for this and a timeline for this. We also put in place monitoring procedures to make sure that this is successful, and we also identified potential risks that could come with engagement. Some certain risks could be things such as language barriers or mistrust or disengagement. After that, we began writing our introduction section, and here is an example of some of the sections that we began outlining and chapters that we organized. Here you can see the introduction section, the people behind the plan section, how the plan was developed, and where we are now. There are more chapters beyond this, but this is just a little shot of some of the outlining that we did for the plan. Beyond that, we started brainstorming and creating a contact list for our plan. A lot of this was done in collaboration with Green Umbrella and also Hamilton County Environmental Services. We got a lot of wonderful contacts which had specific focuses and expertise in various domains that we're interested in addressing in our plan. And with the spreadsheet, we would put their names, their contact information, and which subcommittee we think that they would fit well on. After that, we began meeting with our contacts and key stakeholders. How we approached this is that Shobha and I would divide the contact list in half. We reached out to around 80 to 90 people, so it made sense that we divided up that work. How it would look is one of us would lead the meeting while the other would take notes. And in our meetings, we would ask them about expertise in their fields, what they would like to see in a sustainability plan, and what key concerns that they have. Excitingly, when we asked at the end of the meeting if they would be interested, everyone has said yes, so we did not receive a no across the board with collaboration on our plan. Like I said, we started writing certain introduction sections. We wrote the timeline section of the plan. We also wrote our purpose and vision section and also began writing our greenhouse gas inventory section. Beyond that, we started creating plan page templates so that when the bulk of the writing commences, people are able to just paste the words into the template so that the document looks cohesive as well. After that, we created a master document of next steps and prepared a Google Drive of materials that we left behind for the people. On the next steps document, there was a timeline spanning until the spring of 2026, which is when we would hope that this plan concludes, but we understand that things change and, a timeline isn't always static. And within each month of the timeline, we outlined action items that we'd like to be accomplished as well. So I've touched on a few of these deliverables already. We talked about the peer plan review, the engagement plan, the inventory, the contact list, the initial writing, the chapter outlining and structuring, but there are also a few other things that we accomplished this summer. We created 3 surveys for the summer. One was an internal survey with Hamilton County Environmental Services, where we gauged their expertise and concerns and asked if they would like to be involved. And we had quite a few responses that yes, they would like to be involved with this planning process. We also sent one out to the Hamilton County governmental departments as well, which asked similar questions and asked about involvement. We also created an external survey for the citizens of Hamilton County, which had similar questions, but it was more public-friendly facing and used more public-friendly terminology. Beyond that, we also conducted a needs assessment for the county, where we checked on various strengths and weaknesses across a bunch of domains. We also did a vertical integration assessment, which checked the alignment between the county and the state of Ohio's position and strategies in regards to climate change and sustainability efforts. And beyond that, we also conducted a capacity assessment at Hamilton County Environmental Services, where we checked how the current operations in place would align or not align with a sustainability plan. Beyond that, we also outlined a website where we created a wireframe from it and consulted with Hamilton County Environmental Services communication team to get that finalized. It is not yet released, but we have a clear outline and sections ready for it to be released. So moving forward, where we're at right now, as Shobha said, climate action is already happening throughout the county, and there are so many great efforts that we've been able to explore this summer, but sometimes it can be disconnected. We're hoping that with this plan, along with Green Umbrella's programming, we can bring alignment. This comes at a great time. Green Umbrella just released their 25 Communities project, which we feel will be a valuable asset to this planning. Our fellowship has laid the groundwork, and now we need your leadership to carry it forward. What we're asking is for you to champion the development and the adoption of this sustainability plan and to formally endorse the steering committee for this plan. We're hoping that you would encourage and enable coordination between the departments within Hamilton County. Thank you for your time today.
Okay, thank you so much for the presentation, and thank you. Yeah, very nice. Very thorough, very well done. I just have a couple of questions and then a couple of comments. So I am very interested in knowing about your interest in the field of green planning, green development. I mean, obviously you're interns with Green Umbrella, but I'm curious to know about your level of interest in what you intend to do as you move forward in your educational careers and beyond, and what was the impetus for wanting to be a fellow to begin with?
So for me, I want to go into environmental law in my future. So this summer, I took this fellowship as an opportunity to dive into policy specifically because that is where I am passionate. Honestly, I've been interested in environmentalism ever since my AP Environmental Science class in high school. And I think in these planning efforts, that was a valuable thing to look back on because one of our sections is around education. And I think that our plan can bring about a wider reach to students. And through this plan, they'll be able to get more people interested in environmental initiatives. So I'm using my interest and experience to incorporate it into this plan.
I am a person who believes in community engagement in all sorts of ways, and this is something that I wanted to put into the plan. I want our plan to be a very human-centered plan, and that's some of our sectors. We're focusing on education, we're focusing on transportation, but also the education behind why some of these efforts are important. And I think that's where my background as a communication grad student comes in. Environmentalism and climate change is such a politicized term, but I think to reach across the aisle and to understand how to explain why this is important, communication is right at the forefront. It is so hard to get people on board for the same thing, and that's why communication is paramount in this whole plan. And that's something we hope to do, and that's what we hope to do with our engagement list and our contact list.
Yes. So since you touched on community engagement, that was my second question. So when you talked about an engagement survey or a public survey, could you help us understand what you learned from that survey? Do you remember?
Yeah.
So it's yet to be released, so we haven't gotten results to review yet.
Okay.
On that, we're waiting to release it through Green Umbrella and also Hamilton County Environmental Services communications team. But when creating the survey, I think it was interesting learning how to communicate climate action in a way that unites people rather than polarizes them. I think that has been an interesting part of this fellowship, and I think that was a lot of fun to learn about. I also took a communicating environmental problems class, so I really enjoyed getting to use my skills that I learned from that and putting it into the survey.
So that's the one thing. And you mentioned linkages. We've got so many organizations in Hamilton County in this space. You mentioned connecting the dots, which I think is really important. So we're familiar with those organizations. It's important to have data that identifies strategies. I note the one bar graph that you had. We need to understand where air pollutants are coming from in order to really have an impact. If we're targeting the wrong sector, we don't have as much of an impact. So I thought that was really a smart way to approach this. But the public piece is something that's ever evolving. And so it's so interesting to know at any moment in time what the public is thinking related to these issues. So I really think that is, especially as elected officials, always a critically important piece to helping us understand how to move policy forward. So thank you both for the presentation. Brad, I'm sure we'll be hearing more about you related to the next steps, but I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Dumas first to ask any questions or make any comments.
Thank you for your wonderful presentations. I appreciate it. I think about what people think that the environment will take care of itself, and it won't. And what are we leaving our children? And so I really like what you were saying about people working in silos, and so it limits the collective impact. I mean, that's the story of our life.
Right.
Everywhere. Everybody wants to take credit for this initiative and that initiative rather than what's important. Let's put it all together. So that was a monumental statement that you made. Just one question about the steering committee. I'd like to know, not now, but who's on it and how diverse as far as what areas of concentration those people are on. How many are on your steering committee? How many?
Thus far, we've brainstormed it. It's not exactly in our power to appoint a steering committee, but we have around 8 people so far, I believe.
And we have people from the nonprofit sector and the governmental sector. But we also are looking for community partners, community members to get on it. And we also have started conversations about potentially including youth on it, to have that youth representation, because I think for people, I can speak for my generation, environmentalism and this issue is the issue of our times. And this is one of the most pressing issues that we're facing. So I think having that youth voice on that is also very important.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, Brad.
I'll just add to what you said, Commissioner Driehaus, that more to come. So this is really more of a progress update to let you know where we are. I was very excited with where we landed with creating a structure for a plan. We don't have a formal plan yet. You heard the goal is 2026. I feel confident that we can stick to that goal. So I'll be working, I've been working with Assistant Administrator Chrisman and obviously Jeff. So there'll be more updates coming to you regarding the steering committee and what part you can take in supporting us in this. But just wanted to give an update on where we were and how good the progress was with this fellowship. So thank you.
Thank you.
Much
Thanks so
appreciated.
much for the presentation.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Our next item is Women Helping Women, and Kristen Shrimplin is here. She's the CEO. Kristen, would you please come forward, introduce your team? Kristen's going to give us an update on some of the work that they're doing, but also some of the impacts of the county investment.
Absolutely. And before that, I just have to say that was
Right?
dynamite. That was amazing. I think our agency's ready for some fellows. So my name's Kristen Smith Shrimplin, President and CEO of Women Helping Women. Our mission is to prevent gender-based violence and empower all survivors. Today, our focus really is just to, come here and give a snapshot of what we're already seeing, basically in the first 6 months in this county and what our responsiveness is, and to say thank you for the continued partnership and championing of the services we provide. So my colleagues will be going through a quick few data points. And it will be Amber Malat, who is our Vice President of Programming, as well as Amy Bleezer, who is our COO.
Thank you.
We won't take too much of your time today, but thank you for having us here and inviting us into the space. Thank you for your partnership and support of Women Helping Women, particularly through our prevention programs in Hamilton County, as well as our Divert program. As Kristen mentioned, our intention is to give you a more holistic view of the programs that we provide, and more importantly, how we're collaborating and making an impact in the lives of those experiencing gender-based violence in Hamilton County. She mentioned our mission to prevent gender-based violence and empower all survivors. You all know, because you have been long supporters of Women Helping Women, that we are a 52-year-old domestic violence and sexual assault serving organization. We are the only rape crisis center in Southwest Ohio, serving a 5-county service area from Claremont, Brown, Adams, Hamilton, and Butler County. In 2024, we provided 8,500 survivors, 37,000 crisis intervention services. And our numbers to date, as you'll see when Amy begins to speak a little bit more about trends, are growing, and we're on pace to have record-breaking numbers and impact in 2025. Right now, our Hamilton County intervention programs, as of Q2 2025, our hotline has received 7,725 calls from 2,400 plus survivors. And then our hospital response program shows up for 26 local hospitals throughout our service area, and we've served 214 survivors with hospital advocacy. That's particular to sexual assault as well as domestic violence. Court advocacy is where we most commonly, I think, are thought of or viewed in the community as showing up and having impact. We've provided 400 survivors in Hamilton County, 788 court accompaniment experiences through domestic relations, municipal, criminal court. And Divert, as you know, is our law enforcement response program where our advocates respond on scene during any domestic dispute to provide supportive services to our identified victims in those settings. We've had 941 survivors that are served through 964 different Divert responses. Support group offerings are also happening. We do those virtually and in person, and we've had 47 Hamilton County survivors participate in our support groups this year. And this is where I feel like our impact is really innovative and huge. Our client assistance funds have helped 458 survivors receive $165,000 just this year to meet needs that are predominantly rotating around housing eviction prevention, utilities, moving rent, and food. So I think that's a huge impact. Next, we have information about our prevention programs. To date in Hamilton County, we've served over 1,900 community members and students with prevention programming. The most commonly known prevention program that we have is Prevent and Empower. That's our school-based grades 7 through 12 5-day program where we discuss healthy relationships, how to activate bystander intervention strategies, understanding of consent, and how to be safe online. Brave Bar is another prevention program that we have, where we go into alcohol serving establishments and we train owners down to the door staff and bartenders, of course, around how to understand dangerous behavior in those settings, and how to create their own safety plans to make sure that their patrons and staff are also safe, knowing that sexual harassment is also a part of the equation because 71% of tipped workers experience sexual harassment. Work Strong is another program that we have where we work with corporations to understand how gender-based violence presents itself in the workplace and how it can have an impact on that corporation's bottom line, with the hopes that they will have trauma-sensitive supports that are available for their employees to be able to connect to so that they can sustain their employment, knowing that financial resources or a lack of financial resources and dependency on abusers are the main reasons that folks are staying in abusive relationships. And then finally, community education training can be general training that we provide to any particular group or organization within the community that is tailored to their particular needs and how to understand or respond to accessing our services or just dynamics of gender-based violence. I'll turn it over to our COO, Amy, to talk about collaboration and some trends.
Hi, I'm Amy. So when Amber and Kristen were mentioning about all of the work that we do, we can't leave out the part that a lot of our work is going to be beneficial because we really build collaborative relationships across systems and communities. And so this is not an all-encompassing list because honestly, I tried that and I don't think anybody would have been able to read it. Mm-hmm. So I just pulled out some that we heavily coordinate and talk to and work with along most every day. So that's courts, hospitals, law enforcement, shelters, legal aid, universities. It spans the gamut. So it's essentially anybody that wants to invite us in, we will show up. We've given that guarantee to the community, and we keep that as one of our highest goals is when that information is needed or that support is needed, then we will show up in any way that we can. So some of the big noticeable trends, so Amber went through some of our services, just general numbers of what that's looking like this year. So we also do some comparison to see what does that actually look like in terms of impact and what survivors are experiencing in the community. So in Hamilton County specifically, there's a 36% increase in domestic violence hospital response. So that means that there's a more significant number of people who are showing up to hospitals reporting domestic violence and maybe not coming through the law enforcement door. 49% of survivors are reporting some form of disability. This can be physical, this can be mental, cognitive. We do an all-encompassing bucket for that. One of the biggest concerns, and if you followed the strangulation law that changed last year, moving from a misdemeanor to a felony, we have historically tracked this as a lethality indicator. So currently 55% of survivors in Hamilton County are reporting that they experience strangulation from an abuser right now. That is pretty significant when you compare it to just other areas. It's not being reported as highly. And I think, right, the biggest reason is probably the number of people that are just being represented in that number. But I also think it's because tied to the fact that there has been such a big push about strangulation education from the state and local, I think it has brought more people in to identify and know that that's actually a sign of a very high lethality situation. 84% of survivors in Hamilton County that we work with have at least one minor child, so that's kind of where our prevention goal came in and existed, is around, we know that children are being impacted by violence in the home. And so when we show up on Divert or we show up at a hospital, we are responding to that survivor, and we're including the children in that safety plan, but that we have to go further because there are impacts well beyond that one moment in time. So that's where our prevention education work really focuses in. And that's where it goes into the last two numbers are specifically about what is happening with our prevention education. So 96% of students are reporting that they feel confident setting boundaries with a dating partner following our prevention education. And 94% of students report feeling confident in identifying signs of a healthy relationship. These aren't all the indicators, these are just the two highest ones that we see consistently following our prevention education curriculum. And then Amber mentioned about community trainings, engagements, and so we really do, like we said, we show up when we are needed, but also when it makes sense for us to show up as well. So that's really where we will go through media outlets. We have co-located advocates at courthouses. We have advocates located on campuses to make sure that we are available in places and spaces where it may not seem obvious, but that there actually is a high need for that kind of support. In addition, we also show up in Hamilton County schools, excuse me, in community groups. We show up to community meetings. Anywhere where we think that people can learn about us, we will show up. The nice thing about us is we don't have to show up knowing that something has happened. We can show up and say, if this ever comes up, we want you to be prepared for that. We know how prevalent violence and sexual abuse and gender-based violence is in homes. So we want people to have information well before it actually happens.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the update. Thank you for noting the trends so that we have a handle on that as well. I think we heard a lot post-COVID that the numbers were escalating, and now you've given us evidence of that continued trend. So it's bad news, but good information for us to have as we try to figure out how to invest and how to allocate dollars. I have a couple questions for you, and thank you for the work you do. I know it's not easy work, so thank you. The two places that we are directly invested in the work, and I also want to note that the YW is a partner in the community in this work as well. So you mentioned the DIVERT program, and the jurisdictions participating are 36. Two things on that. Is the city of Cincinnati one of those 36, or are you not counting them? Because they started before we did. So how many of them are outside the city of Cincinnati? And then the education piece, which I think is so critically important. This was a recommendation from the Commission on Women and Girls years ago, and the student members really thought this was an important thing to have accessible in schools. And I note that 16 schools are participating. So in both categories, whether it's the DIVERT program or whether it's the educational prevention program, I'm wondering, not to be critical, but just noting that there are 49 jurisdictions and 36 are participating, so that red flags going up, and then 16 schools, and we've got lots and lots of schools. So are those numbers a reflection of the capacity of Women Helping Women by way of staff, financing, all that kind of stuff, or maybe it's both? Is it a matter of access? When you've got a partner in a law enforcement agency or in a school district saying yes, please come and provide the DIVERT services, provide the education to the young people. Can you help us better understand if those are the dynamics at play here related to these numbers?
Yeah, I think so. For DIVERT, I would say it's a mixture of those dynamics. More specifically, it's the staffing level. It's just been hard finding staff. But there is also, I would say, the 36 jurisdictions we have, and that does include the city of Cincinnati. Okay. So there's 35 okay. in the county, outside of Cincinnati, are less engaged with us at this point. And I think that's where we have been giving quarterly updates to Job and Family Services to see about leveraging support and getting some of those pieces worked out.
And I must say, and I should have said it to begin with, 36 of 49 is pretty good. I mean, it's pretty good because you're dealing with all these different agencies, and it's a personal contact with each and every one of them. But let me just offer for myself that those chiefs meetings as you go and present to them and talk to them about these partnerships, I'm happy to follow up and try to get all 49 on board. And I know it's a challenge, but 36 is pretty darn good. So I did want to mention that. Yeah.
And then Amy's absolutely spot on in her response, and a lot of this is access. So any avenue possible to increase access, we can mobilize. We have the financial support for that. We have figured out how to, over the years, do staffing. That can take time, but we cannot go ahead and activate staffing if we don't have some of those remaining smaller jurisdictions providing that
So
access.
let me just make because all three of us have access to different communities throughout the county. So would you please provide that information to us? Give us the ones that are participating, the ones that are yet to participate, because all three of us have access to those communities in different ways. And, I think that would be really great information for us to have and then work in partnership with you. Okay? Yeah.
And then in regard to prevention, I think it's a little bit of both. I think for these Q2 to date numbers, we did have traditionally our January through May numbers are less than our fall numbers. There's state testing, spring breaks, all of those things that come into play. But also notably this year, we did have, out of our 6 educators, we had 5 of them leave. And so we had to retrain and onboard again that team. So I think it is a little bit of both. I think that we need more access and connectivity to schools so that they know that we're able to provide this information and that it is free, that we can dispel any myths or concerns that they may have in regard to how we deliver the program or how it satisfies Aaron's Law criteria, how they communicate about that program with parents or caregivers within their districts. So any connectivity that you might have to help put us in those places and spaces would be very well received. We are geared up and ready for the fall, which is notably our busiest time of year. And we're doing intentional outreach to middle schools that are unserved at this point because primary point of entry for our program has been through high schools.
Ditto on that one. Ditto on that one. Just give us the information. Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Thank you so much for your presentations. You also provide services outside of Hamilton County, right?
Absolutely.
And so you're in where are you? What other counties?
Adams, Brown, Claremont, and Butler.
That's great. Awesome. Just a couple comments. I love women helping women. Actually, they saved my life. And so I'm just going to and I say that every time, I'll keep saying it. But I'm really impressed and encouraged about the student report. 96% of students report feeling confident in boundaries, and 94%, I'm reading what you already know, of students report feeling confident in identifying signs of unhealthy relationships. And so that's because of that school input that you guys, and I was a certified healthy relationship trainer for many years in the high schools. It really makes a difference, and I don't know how your funding is going because there were some grants for that and stuff. So you just take it straight out of your budget and go into the schools. That's our future. And so to see those numbers are really encouraging. One question I had on your statistics, you said 47 survivors have attended support groups. And I'm just a little concerned about that because the fact that you've had so much impact and so much contact, and only 47 have decided to be in support groups, I wonder about a revolving door. Do you sometimes, what your percentage is on who you work with and whether or not they come back again?
Yeah, so the support groups are kind of like the last step in the phase of things. So we often see people in gender-based violence that don't want to take part in support groups. They continue to work one-on-one with an advocate because trauma is difficult, and they usually get more one-on-one engagement. So we see a lot of people staying with us and ongoing services. The support group aspect is really for people who I have really moved to the point of I'm healed, I've completed all the things, I feel safe, and I've been established for a long time, which unfortunately in gender-based violence, it takes a long time to get there. And so that's where we see that number come from.
Okay, so the one-on-one, do you have statistics on who's dealing, not now, but yeah, who you work with one-on-one?
Oh, yeah.
Percentage? I'd like to see that.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you for all you do.
Thank you. Commissioner Reese?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for all of your work. And I remember 5 years ago, the numbers were a lot lower in terms of getting into these areas. So I just want to compliment you for doing that. And I think we did, all of us, try to help get some of those meetings going. And you guys, once we helped get the meetings going, you guys went in and was able to form the partnership. So it was just great to see the progress and the growth. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate it. All right, commissioners, we've got one other item, which is an exec session, but, oh, sorry. I didn't know that. So before we get to that, and I will recognize that, we do have, I was going to mention one other item before we go into exec session, and we might have an additional speaker. We've got a couple interns in the room that tomorrow is their last day serving the county. So Trey Warden is from my office. Thank you, Trey, for your service to the county. You've been a delight, and we hope you learned something while you were here. And then Theodore Bismeyer, intern with the VSC, his last day is also tomorrow. So thank you both for choosing the county. So do you want to recognize them? So Director Sanza is here, Director of the VSC. Did you want to say a couple words, or I didn't know
You wanted to say
if
goodbye
they're?
to us.
Oh, all right.
I am here, of course, at the honorable invitation of Commissioner Dumas. So I was just expected to just give a mid-year update on the Veteran Service Commission, but I stand at the pleasure of the commission. Tomorrow is my last day as serving as the executive director. I do want to just say thank you to all of you for your leadership and your strongest partnership possible that we could have ever asked for on the Veteran Service Commission. We've taken a commission and done a complete 180 in the last 15 months. Taken an organization that was 6 full-time employees to 18 that now serves and is capable, willing, and able to serve the over 38,000 veterans we have in Hamilton County. We've introduced a dental program never before, a vision program, a financial literacy program. We now have a van that takes veterans to and from their VA medical appointments and expanded transportation. As you all know, our second annual Military and Veterans Appreciation Day is coming up in just 2 weeks. As of yesterday, our sign-up is 1,200 veterans have signed up and will be there to receive access to all of their veteran benefits that they're entitled to. So and we continue to grow. And the commission is under capable and great leadership in interim director Glenn Welling, who, of course, you all know is currently serving as Veteran Service Commissioner, but his resignation is tendered effective Thursday when he takes the interim position. So with that, I thank you for allowing me to serve alongside you and the veterans and their families in Hamilton County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, pass it along to your board,
Apologize,
please.
You didn't know because I.
Well, it's not on the agenda, so I'm,
Yeah, but yeah. So.
No, I appreciate that. Commissioner Reese, any?
Yeah, since you bring it up, I see he's walking out, but
Hello.
let me just say that I saw the advertisement. We were not at this level a year ago. One of the things I said, wait a minute, we're not advertising. And I want to tell you that watching sports this weekend, it was so great to see our veteran services advertising. And I want to say that this is our second annual Veterans Appreciation Day, and I want to thank the VSC. And I want to thank my colleagues because this was something that I thought we should have, and now we're doing our second year. We were able to do it at Great American Ballpark. You had just come in after we had passed it. We had over 3,000 veterans that came out to get help. Anson is here. He's grinning because the administrator dropped it in his lap. But to be able to work together and then have a budget for the first time, the largest budget in county history for our veterans with the VSC. So I wanted to tell everyone, every veteran, everyone that's serving in the military, to come out to our second annual Hamilton County Veterans and Military Day that will be happening on next week, August 23rd, I believe. And it's not just a party, it is a celebration, but you will be able to, as we did last time, some of you remember, we had the people there from DAV and the people from the VA. We even had our Veterans Court that actually held court and expunged a veteran who had done the work. And so the families were there, 3,000. We're hoping to get more this year, but this is the second annual, and I think it's just something great that Hamilton County, we now have an annual thing that brings everybody together with the VSC, with our board, and with the funding that we're providing. And you can come on the spot, get help. And I think this year, Sansa, you said on the spot, we're bringing some other folks that you can get the, when you fill out the paperwork, can you tell them that you'll be able to get it right on the spot?
Yeah, so for this year, we're excited to partner with other county veteran service commissions, along with the VA and Wounded Warriors, the DAV, to bring veteran service officers on site to do claims assistance right there on the spot. So it's a one-stop shop for our veterans, and we're excited to announce that for this year, yes.
This is no small thing. The officers on the spot, being able to take your application, being able to talk to a person, not a 1-800, not a robot, not an AI. They will be there, so please sign up. This is entirely free. We got free food. We've got free entertainment. Bring the whole family out, whether you're a veteran or you're still in the military. And this is our second year doing it. And I just want to thank you, and I want to thank my colleagues, because this is a vision that I had, and I'm glad to see it come to fruition. We did 3,000. We're going to do more this time. And I just want to thank the VSC and you working with them to get our vision of the board out there. We're advertising. We're out front. And we want to be the #1 county, and I think we're going there. So when you go to Washington, don't forget us. Bring something back. You've been on the ground. You've seen what we're doing with these veterans, and anything you can do to help us, we would appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks again for being here. All right. I'm going to make a motion that we move into executive session pursuant to RC Section 121.22G2 to discuss the sale or acquisition of property.
Second.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas? Commissioner Reese?
Yes.